Welcome to the Untrapped Podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
All right, here we are. What's up?
Hey, I'm just living my best life now, like Joel Osteen says, I guess. I don't know.
How are you? Where are you, Josh?
I'm at a mastermind event in Cancun. We got here on Monday. My wife's here too, but she's out peopling right now. I've actually been working in my hotel room the whole day because I'm lame like that. But it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's hot. It's Xcaret, Mexico. There's like grottos and caves and little blue river lagoons everywhere. We're going to swim with dolphins tomorrow morning. That's going to be awesome. But it's with Russell Brunson and Byron Golden and Garrett White and all these fancy cool people.
You're with Garrett White?
He's here. Yeah. I don't know Garrett personally, but there's a lot of people here. There's a few hundred people here that are all different from all over the place. All part of Russell's and ClickFunnels kind of coaching and mastermind programs. So it's pretty crazy. Did I lose you again? Oh no. All right.
We're back.
We're back. Okay. Could you hear me?
I'm just trying to set my phone down and it shut off because I can't hold it for an hour. All right, here we go.
All right. So it's it's crazy. Maybe this is a cool thing to kick it off with, but there's people doing things with business here that will break your brain. And if it's okay, if I have permission to break people's brain,
break it.
Because here's the thing with people always ask me, they're like, Josh, if your service business was so great, why'd you sell it? That's what it's a common question. And I sold my service company almost 10 years ago. So it's been a while. But the answer to that question is really, really simple. I sold it because it's not the greatest business model in the world. It's just not. It's a perfect training wheels business. It's a perfect starter business. And if you have a Tommy Mello personality type and you're going to build $1 billion empire with it, then freaking good for you, go for it. But for a lot of people, the service business is where they learn business. They learn how to read a P&L and what cost of goods are, and they learn how to hire people and fire people, and they learn how to get stabbed in the back by employees and how to get stabbed in the front by employees, and they learn all the things. But what you'll also learn as you eventually have success with your service company is that it's not the greatest business model ever. I'm not disparaging it. It's just not. So if you notice, a lot of the leaders in these industries, they sell their company. They either get into like the information business, they get into the software business, or they get in a different, better gross margin type of business. Because if you're doing 2 or 3 million a year as a service company, and you might keep 10% of that in your pocket if you're still in growth mode, you can make more than that. You can make 20%. Some companies have a 25% net. But I know the real truth because I've worked with over 1,000 business owners. Most of the owners are making 10, 15%. The rest is going into fixing equipment, more marketing for more growth the next year. And it's just not as rewarding as other business models could be. And now that you know the game of business, you can apply your same skill sets to a higher leveraged vehicle. And it's still not easy, right? Like I almost went bankrupt starting my software company. It was the hardest thing I ever did, but that is a better business model because if I sell that someday, the multiple I'm going to get on it will be 4 times or 5 times more than what I got with my service company. It's kind of like, think of your business or your business model as like a bicycle. Riding a bike is way better than walking, right? So like if you have a job, that's like walking. And if you have a service company, you're riding a bike and you can go 30 miles an hour on a bike, which is amazing. But, software company is like a car, right? Or getting into the information business. A lot of people are learning how to get into the information business. Not being like a guru coach. I mean, we don't need more 22-year-old life coaches or anything. I think we're good. We don't need a bunch of those. But people have expertise with different things. Like I have friends that have a funnel where they teach people how to decorate cookies better. And this lady who has this funnel, they did over $1 million their first 14 months. Her husband's my accountant. This couple we had dinner with 2 nights ago here in Mexico, they're 28 years old and they've done $36 million helping hair salons grow their business faster. Okay, real numbers, $36 million. My friend Krista Mayshore, who's here, she helps real estate agents just succeed better because she's really amazing. She sells over 100 homes a year and has for over 20 years. And so she built a program, again, a different model than just getting commission from real estate, a more leveraged vehicle. And she hasn't done less than $1 million a month with that information business in 27 consecutive months. And I can go on and on and on with weird examples. I mean, there's a lady here who's doing 10 to 20,000 a month because she teaches people air fryer techniques. Like, she's on YouTube. She teaches them like recipes and different cool things to do with their air fryer. She's making 6 figures from that. And so if your service company is, really hard and you're struggling, I don't want to discourage you from finishing it for a couple of reasons. Number one, you need to like close the loop on it, meaning don't just shut it down and chase shiny objects, because you'll wind up failing at the next thing too, because all of it's hard. But if you can get over the hump, get to like maybe 600,000 to 800,000 in revenue at least, or if you get up to $1 million and you have a team and it's like sort of automated and you kind of did it, then I would encourage you, if it fits your personality type, where you want location independence, you want more profit with less time, you want more leverage, you want to get off the bicycle and get into a car. There's so many weird things you can do outside of the service business. So that's the truth. No one likes to talk about it. I've been talking about it more because it's the truth. And but again, not to detract from it, because you still need to learn how to do hard things and push through. So I don't know. What are you thinking as I say all that, Keith?
When you talk, it feels like my dopamine receptors and my serotonin glands are shooting like a fire hose. And it's like, it feels like, I don't mean to sound weird, in a weird way, but it's like physical ecstasy. That's why you call it mind bombs. Like, there is no $1 billion yacht or crazy shit. There's something about when you talk about this shit and the way you talk about it, it's like, I'm going too far with this, bro.
Well, the comments stopped, so I thought maybe everybody like fell asleep or got mad at me or something. But I can see the comments, at least the ones that are in the StreamYard.
Austin Douglas Stitcher, he says, "Wash my brain," because he's
Corey wants to get out of the service business. Brian Haggerty's at a 40% net. That's right, Brian is. Brian is just killing it. It's very rare. It's uncommon. When I met Brian Haggerty, he was doing about 300,000 a year in revenue, and really struggling, and he has built a beast of an empire since then, and absolutely killing it.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm going to hide the comments for a minute.
Yeah, keep commenting.
New comments
encouragement here to tell me what you want to talk about. Anything I can do to add value at all. I mean, this is not
everything that you just said was straight value. Because what you do is you talk about the possibility type stuff. Like we get so entrenched when we do something over and over and over, day after day. That's the only way. We have to make it's like using an old can opener that's a pain in the ass and it keeps popping off the can. And
right.
But you're like, no, there's this totally new improved can opener. You just press the button and walk away, and it automates the whole damn thing, and you can open 50 cans at once while you're doing something else.
Right before I hopped on this call, I was talking to a friend of mine who I won't say her name because I don't know if she would want me to share it, but she makes over $1 million a year in net, and she works from her home office, okay? And she originally had a service business. I just don't think people understand the leverage of it. I got a question. Can I answer Wash Life TV's question?
Yeah.
Okay. What's typical EBITDA on an exit of a company that does 1.5? I think clarify Wash Life TV if you could. Are you asking what the multiple is on your exit, or are you asking what the goal EBITDA should be on a company doing that? So I'll answer both of them until you type in to clarify. But if you're doing 1.5 million, I'm assuming you have a pressure cleaning company because of your logo. So your target EBITDA should be 20 to 25%. And here's what that means. When you're doing 500,000, you got to be charging way more than you think you should, because a $1.5 million business maybe has health benefits and it has other perks for employees that the little business doesn't have yet. So you want your pricing to actually reflect the future version of your company. You ever heard the quote, act your age? When it comes to revenue, you want to act above your age. So behave like $1 million company when you're doing 300,000 in terms of the pricing and the systems and the way you lead people. I remember with my cleaning company, we had our first annual Christmas party when I had one employee and I took him to a steakhouse with me and my wife and him, and his face turned red because he was so embarrassed because I gave out awards for the year, but he won every award. But I was doing that because I could see this bigger vision, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to be too embarrassed to not do this. I'm doing a freaking awards ceremony for my one guy because sometime we're going to have 30 guys, right? So in terms of, okay, so the multiplier, he wants to know, your multiple is actually getting bigger and bigger right now. Let me give you some good news for all the service businesses. So Wash Life is asking, what multiple can he sell his 1.5 pressure cleaning company for? The true answer is whatever someone's willing to pay for it, but that's a cop-out answer. The average is 3 to 5, 5 being on the high side, okay? So if you have a 20% net, we'll do some math here. That means you're netting $300,000 a year, right? So you should be able to sell your business for $900,000 up to $1.5 million, depending on the buyer and depending on how clean and streamlined you are, and depending on how much more growth there is in your market. Probably a private equity company would buy your business, and one of the first things they're going to look at is they're going to figure out what your max business size can be based on the zip codes that you service. So they're figuring out you're doing 1.5, but you could do 6.2. But they kind of are going to know that it's going to taper off at 6.2. And then the only way to grow is to have satellite locations and more zip codes and that kind of thing. So if you're in a really juicy market where there's lots of growth to happen, you have an incredibly good leadership team in place that will stay with the company. That's how you get multiples of 4 and 5. And it could be even more. It could be because a lot of people want to buy all of you all's companies right now. There's more action happening on business acquisitions than I've ever seen ever. And private equity and Wall Street money is literally moving to Main Street and buying service companies like crazy, like big time. I could talk about this for 2 hours. It's a big opportunity. Another thing you can do though, is you can do what's called a roll up. So if you're already doing $1 million, he typed a bunch of stuff here. We're doing 1.5 to 1.7, net margins 20-25%. Perfect. That's what I had suggested it be. That's great. Okay. So another thing you could do if you want to make more money on the exit is roll up more companies into your company. So imagine this. Imagine there's a $1 million business that does 100,000 in profit. Okay. And that would only be worth 200 or 300 grand, a multiple of 2 or 3, because it's not that big, not that much profit. Okay. But if I bought 9 additional companies that all did $1 million with 100,000 profit, then what I would have is I'd roll up all 10 into a new company. We'll call it NewCo. So NewCo does 10 million in revenue with 1 million in profit. But here's what's really crazy is you would think the multiple would be 2 or 3, right? Because one of those businesses is only worth 200 or 300,000. So if I have 10 of them, it should be worth 2 or 3 million, right? Well, no, because when you hit 7 figures in profit, the multiples change. Really, just the more EBITDA you have, the more it can change. But a good benchmark is 1 to 2 million. 2 million is better, but $1 million in profit, you could sell that for like 8 million. Okay, so if you bought 9 other companies just like yours, and you didn't even grow them, you could create like $5 million in enterprise value just by mushing them together, so that you have a super company with bigger numbers. That's a little advanced and nerdy, but pretty awesome. A lot of people are starting to do this now. They're starting to learn how to do these things. Was that too deep and nerdy? What do you think?
No, I love it.
Okay.
It's probably over some people's heads, but I love it. Sorry, that doesn't help.
A couple hunters. I have a service business, keep getting people saying my prices are too high. The more I keep hearing that, the more I question my own price. How do you deal with that when growing your business? I'm curious how long you've been in business, what services you offer, what your price point is. But I will tell you this, price objections are a derivative of expectation, meaning if people have in their brain the idea of what you're supposed to cost, and then your price breaks that frame. So if they get 3 quotes and first guy's $800, the next guy's $700, and you're $1,500, the reason they freak out is because of that they are anchored to an $800-900 price, and then you broke their frame. You broke their frame of reference, right? So here's the thing: we need to justify higher prices. There's all kinds of stuff we can all do and should do. Part of it is anchoring people to higher prices. Part of it is controlling the frame through your sales process. So let me just ask you this in my example. If you have the $800 bid, the $700 bid, you know that you're going to be $1,500, okay? But part of your phone scripts on the phone is making it clear up front that you're a premium, top shelf, white glove, luxury service provider. You're the BMW of the thing which you do. You're not a good fit for everybody, but we'd be happy to have John, our sales manager, drop off a full detailed pricing estimate tomorrow morning. Mrs. Jones, if you have any questions at all, let me know. He's going to be driving this type of vehicle. He's uniformed. He has an iPad. And you have my direct line to call. If the way it feels in the phone when they even get the estimate is so different than the other two, that's like kind of step one. We want to create separation. They answered in 4 rings. You answered in 1 ring. They said, what's your address? Yeah, I can drop it off. They write their price on the back of a business card. You have a choreographed, choir-directed experience.
Sorry, man. I just imagine guys showing up in tuxedos and the lawnmowers are on dubs, and they're like...
It's perception, and it's framing, and it's anchoring. Those are the words you want to learn. You can go on YouTube and learn about these things. But
I used to get so pissed when you would say that stuff. I'm like, what are we going to do? Show up in fucking tuxedos and cut their grass? They don't care.
No, you don't have to do that.
Like, so at what percentage? See, I'm getting triggered right now because I was like, but you're saying all up from the initial, because you got to keep them how you got them, the initial customers that they've been paying this much forever. You just all of a sudden come in with this new high price for no reason. Of course.
No, I mean, maybe, but that's a different scenario, right? So like, they think you're the cheap discount bill guy. That's hard, because how you get them is how you got to keep them. So if you get them because you're the cheapest, you got to keep them by continuing to be the cheapest. Like Walmart can't just triple their prices and succeed. Walmart is super cheap. They only run on 1.5% margins. Did you know that? They make a % profit. But anyway, if people know or feel like you're premium, what you want, like the ideal scenario is you want them to be scared of your price and then be pleasantly surprised you're only $300 more than the other guy. You want them to think you're going to be even more, right? And so that, look, not everybody's going to buy that. It's completely fine that they don't. But the choreography and the systems of the way you engage, the way you look and smell, the way the script comes out of your mouth, like there's so much to this, Keith. Like when you give people prices for all of your stuff, and I'm asking everybody in the chat right now watching this, do you make it a point to scribble off and scratch over the price of all the services that the people don't need? Because if you do that one tiny thing, it's an act of choreography. So if you give them 8 prices for different packages and a la carte services, and when you present it to them, you don't just say, here you go, Ms. Smith, let us know, we're here to help. No. You get permission, you walk around the house, you pet their dog, you build rapport. You want to spend as many minutes there as you can. When you present the pricing sheet to them, like write down the price for the gutter whitening package, but let's say they don't need it. You still write down the price, and then you scratch it out right in front of them. You say, honestly, can I take my salesman hat off for a second? These 3 things you don't even need. I recorded the price so we have it in the future in our computer. Like if in a couple of years you want it, don't even worry about that. Now, personally, I like this one or this one. It's ultimately up to you. The difference is this, this, and this, and this. What questions do you have for me, right? So there's these little things that can be done that totally change the outcome. Because if you're getting price guarantee objection or price objections, do you believe in your heart that if I came and did it, that the same exact thing would happen to me? Or if I airdropped Alex Hormozy into your market and I let him sell your stuff, like, would that still happen to him? Sometimes it would, but what that tells you is like the needle can be moved through process and through choreography, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
If you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
Like if I airdrop Tommy Mello to go do the next 10 bids for that guy, would he have the same close rate? or would he probably do better? Well, he'd probably do better, not because he's a more valuable.
You know what? I should have had Tommy Mello on yesterday. I had, well, we had a great guest on yesterday, but I was going to have Tommy Mello on yesterday, and you're talking about Tommy Mello so much here that if I had him on yesterday, everybody would know. But he's going to be on Monday or Tuesday.
Cool.
So that will all make sense, everything that he's saying, for those of you who don't know who Tommy Mello is. But he's like a $200 million garage door company. The guy lives in total abundance, and he's the visionary of his business, and they have very high prices, and his employees are all paid well, and they have benefits and everything. So when he says Tommy Mello, like literally, where is it? There it is. Did you get that yet?
I did not yet, but I am aware of it. Yes.
Gosh. Yeah, but anyways.
Tommy will be a billionaire probably within a couple of years. He's awesome. He's super smart. So I see Carmen said in this area, if you don't beat others' prices, you usually lose the job. I wish I had a personal relationship with Carmen, because I don't want to just dismiss all the truth of what you're saying, Carmen, but it's just like, I just disagree for a whole bunch of reasons. Now, how to fix it? Yeah, it's not magical unicorn fairy dust, but it has to do with who people think you are when they get the price, and the way that the price and the value is uncovered to them, the systems and the follow-up, the urgency, the scarcity, the psychology. There's lots of things that can be done to improve it. And yes, there's variances in markets, 100% that's true, but people falsely believe that that's like the thing. Oh, my market's different, Josh. No, it's not. Like, it could be a little bit different. There can be seasonality differences. There can be, for example, you can live in a military town that's more transient, and so there's less homeowners and more renters. Like, there's certain things that are true, but it's really a mentality and a mindset. And if you think that you're just like, you have to be the cheapest, well, that you're literally destined to just struggle, and it's going to be harder for you. If you believe it's true, even if it's not true, that's kind of a wrap. That's it. Because then now you're not trying to solve the problem because you think it's unsolvable.
Love it.
Yeah, and like, price is relative to value, and people don't understand. Like, here's another tip if you want another tip. When you explain to people what you do, don't just tell them the name of the service. Stop selling services and start selling stacks. You need to stack your value. So if you do a house wash for someone, and you say house wash this much, like, that's not good. Instead, you say, with the luxury house wash bundle, the first thing you get is this, and you uncover and explain and articulate that first component of what they get, which creates kind of value just for that one piece. So for example, when you wash a house, the first thing a lot of companies do is they tape off all the electrical outlets. They pre-wash and water down all the plants, so when they spray the chemical in the house, it doesn't kill the flowers and the bushes, right? Well, but they don't explain these things to the customers oftentimes. And what you got to do is you carefully unpack each component of what you're already doing. And so if you cover the electrical outlets, you can say, we're the only company in the Southeast Valley that uses the PPP guarantee. It's a personal property protection guarantee, because we tape off all the electrical outlets and we pre-water all your plant. Yes, it costs us more money. Yes, it takes us more time, but it's the only acceptable professional way to do business in our opinion. And I would run if anybody else doesn't have a guarantee similar. That's the first thing that you get with this package. The second thing you get, right, is this, and then you get this, and you're just explaining what you're already doing more powerfully, and it creates this expectation of a higher price, so that hopefully they're pleasantly surprised you're only $300 or $400 more than the other people or whatever. That's the idea.
When you talk it,
it'll make your competitors hate your guts when you do this, because they're all watering the plants too, but they don't have the personal property protection guarantee. They don't have the storytelling down. They don't have the choreography down. And you name it something proprietary. You proprietize it. Call it something. Make it an acronym. Use alliteration. Like, be creative with it, because it creates all this value. And half the people you're competing with are writing a price on a business card, like shoving it in their door. Like, what are you talking about? You think you're supposed to lower your price lower than that guy? You see, people, when you sell like I'm describing, all of your competitors, yeah, they're going to lower their price because they're going to start losing all the jobs. And they think in their brain that the answer is to lower their price. And the exact opposite is what they should do. They should raise their price and increase the sophistication of their process so that it flows better. So they smell a little bit less like nicotine and like bad decisions. These guys wear wife beaters and they go out. It's crazyville. Like if you just actually show up on time, move really fast, like Brian Hegarty's company, they're doing 300,000-400,000 a month with huge profits. They're fast. Like one of their competitive advantages is speed. Speed by itself justifies higher prices. Little companies wear it as a badge of honor to say, I'm booked out 6 weeks. That's not a good thing, okay? It means you're losing tons of money. But anyway, so Brian is twice the price, but he can service people the next day in a lot of cases. No one else can do that because it's hard. It's really hard to be able to do that. It's complicated. But his prices are boom. But he answers the phone. The process is perfect. The crew is trained. The crew is paid a ton of money. His guys make bank. They all take 3 months off in the winter and go skiing for 2.5 months and go deep sea fishing in Florida for 2 months. But it's all works because of the high prices. Like the high prices isn't about you being greedy. It's about you being able to build a real company that has real careers where it's more sellable. It protects you. It feeds everything else. Makes it easier. It makes marketing not as scary. It makes everything more.
What about the people who are listening and say, but I don't want to do all that. I just want to make a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when I speak or if I do a workshop, sometimes I'll ask the crowd, raise your hand if you want $1 million. And they'll kind of not want to play along. So I say, no, pretend what I'm about to say is real. Play in the world of crazy ideas with me for 3 minutes. Can you give me 3 minutes? If you'll give me 3 minutes, say, I will. Okay, cool. So pretend I have a magic button. And if I push the magic button, $1 million, 1,000,000,000 is wired into your personal checking account. I pay the taxes on it. You get the whole million. It'll happen as soon as I push this button. If your hand is not in the air by the time I hit this magical button, you do not get it. If your hand's not in the air, you don't get it. Who wants it? Who wants to put your hand up if you want it? And the whole room puts their hands up because they want it, right? And then I say, keep your hands up if you have $1 million in your checking account. And they all go down. And it's not to like shame people or something. It's to make this point. This is the point. Desire alone is almost worthless. Like wanting to have lots of money doesn't mean anything. Everybody wants that. You got to stop trying to get money to make a lot of money. That's a whole mind bomb. Like poor people chase money. Right? Tommy Mello has never chased money. He is chasing a vision. He's building a machine. He is obsessed with his teams. He is literally, authentically obsessed with helping them get ahead with it. You know how many millionaires he's created? You should ask him. I don't know the number. He's created a bunch of millionaires already that are employees of his that have helped him do all the roll-ups and the acquisitions and all the things. He's killing it. And so he's helping everyone around them succeed. He's helping his customers have the absolute top shelf best experience ever. And yeah, he's filthy rich because of it. So what? That's what happens when you help lots of people. Like money is the byproduct of being a value creator in the marketplace for your customers, for your employees. Money happens automatically when you're a person of value, of enthusiasm. Alex Hormozy says that sales is just an enthusiasm transplant. That's what it is. It's the vibe. They can feel if you're real. They can feel if you're chasing the money. Poor people want money, 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 money. They buy scratch-off lottery tickets. One time when I used to repossess cars as a 19-year-old as a side hustle, I saw a person in Detroit get $2 worth of gas and buy $18 worth of lottery tickets. And my heart broke for that person, even as a 19-year-old idiot that didn't know anything, because that's like their way out. That's how they think they're going to get free, is doing that. And business owners have a sense of entitlement a lot of times. They think that they're just supposed to, like, because they did hard work, that they get money. Well, people that dig ditches do hard work. They don't make any money, right? Like hard work doesn't correlate with money either. It's necessary for success, but it's not the determining factor of lots of money. Isn't that interesting? So
talk about the correlation in the equation of effort and money and that misperception. That was huge to me when you taught me that.
Well, like, I think instead of trying to get money, there's 4 things you should try to obsess of getting instead of money that automatically give you money. So if you get these 4 things, money will happen to you. This isn't like woo-woo Tony Robbins.
Let me get my pen. You'll be
Sure.
all right. Give us the 4 things.
Sure. First one is confidence. Confidence is what's known as a success derivative. And derivative is just a fancy word like sawdust. Think of sawdust. Sawdust is a derivative of cutting wood, right? Sawdust like automatically happens when you cut wood. So instead of saying, how do I get sawdust? If you didn't even think about how to get sawdust, but instead you just cut wood all day, you'd wind up with lots of sawdust, right? You'd have bountiful amounts of sawdust if you just sawed the log, sawed the board, boom, 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 over and over and over and over. So getting confidence yields money. Confidence means to trust yourself. If you do a word study on the word confidence, it comes from the root word confide, right? Confide means to trust yourself. The problem with trusting ourselves, including me, by the way, I'm not immune to any of this. I have massive debilitating shortcomings all over the place, massive. I'm just a passionate person, but I am like an abject failure, all kinds of things. We can talk about that next if you want. But the goal is to be confident, not to get money. If you honor the word you give to yourself, it's really hard to fail in the long run. You know, if you notice, high achieving people, including Tommy, including, you know, Brandon Vaughn, these people walk with an abnormal level of certainty and confidence. Would you agree? They have this magnetism about them, and they all have different personality types, but the one thing they do is they know how to trust themselves. The only way you can actually trust yourself is to stop lying to yourself. That's why I'm not a fan of affirmations. I think standing in front of the mirror and saying, I am skinny, I am smart, I am rich, that's literally lying to yourself if you're fat and broke, okay? You don't need to do that. You need to actually go walk on a treadmill for 180 days in a row. You need to like not do that irresponsible expense, even though you normally would. And after doing that a few times, you start layering and stacking confidence for yourself. Alex Hormozy says the best way to be successful is to have a pile of irrefutable proof that you are who you say you are. You want to have a stack of irrefutable proof that you are who you say are. Tommy Mello, it's not a game. He's not tricking people. He really is going to be a billionaire that started with nothing. He really did do impossibly hard things for many years in a row, actually equipping his team day after day after day after day after day for tons of time. And no one knew who he was when he was doing it. And no one knew who he was when he was going to run out of cash flow and he had to do this thing. No one was with him when he was being crushed, but he was building his confidence. He was stacking proof, stacking proof, stacking proof. And so the goal is to become a confident person, not arrogant, confident. But to low-level people, arrogance and confidence looks familiar. Looks similar. They look like cousins. They're very different things, but they seem similar to the untrained eye, right? When you're around high-achieving people, they can be the sweetest, most kind, generous people ever, but they have a sense of certainty. And when you start talking about their domain, they drop Thor's hammer with like authority when they're talking about it. And they just have this because it was built over a decade, right? So first C, these all start with a C, is confidence. Don't get money, get confidence. The second one is consistency. And no one wants to hear this, of course, by the way. Half the people are going to click off because it sucks to hear the truth sometimes. But you don't need to get money, you need to be consistent. How many people watching this would have more money if they're more consistent with marketing, or if they're more consistent with their team meetings and leadership, pouring into their staff? If you were more consistent with your fitness, would you be healthier or not? Well, it's like duh, because the health automatically happens through consistency with working out. Money automatically happens by being consistently doing the right things that move the needle in your business. The goal isn't to get money, it's to be a consistent person. It doesn't mean perfect, but it means consistent. It means on average, you're showing up, you're doing what you're going to say. And by the way, being consistent builds your confidence, right? So it's like, in a way, you don't even have to try to be confident. Just be consistent. You get confidence and you get money. Consistency is hard. I have a friend named Ray Higdon. Ray, he has made a Facebook Live video every single day for 11 years in a row. Did you know that? He's never missed one day. Ray also has a little Facebook group called Walking with Ray, Faith with Ray, because he got radically saved and he talks about Jesus all the time. It's amazing. But in his business group, he has like 12,000 people in this business group. They all pay like $20 a month to be in his group. I mean, he makes hundreds of thousands just from that one little thing, right? But the level of consistency the guy's had, he deserves to have this result. It's logical, actually, right? Because he's so good at what he does because he has so much volume of reps under his belt. And the time horizon and consistency is so strong. And what sucks about hearing this is you're like, oh, great. That means I have to wait 10 years to build. No, you don't. Like, powerful things happen in 30 days. Powerful things happen in 3 months. Powerful things happen in 1 year. Tony Robbins says we overestimate what we can do in a year. We underestimate what we can do in a decade. So like, consistency is going to stack and it will build a life for you can't possibly comprehend. But stop trying to get money. Start being more consistent. If you can't close sales and you're always the cheapest, be consistent at learning the game of sales. Read every day about sales. Actually implement and try and iterate and do it bad. This morning I watched a video and this guy said, anything worth doing is worth doing poorly.
Looking to maximize your production in the field? Ballard Products has over 300 products that can help you get the most out of your efforts every day. Ballard Products. Whether you are looking to get a better cut, keep your gear on your machine, keep your expensive equipment clean and safe, or just get the most out of your machines, Ballard has you covered. Ballard Products. Jump onto our easy-to-use updated website at ballard-inc.com to get your gear ordered today. Keep grinding. Stay safe. And have a great season. Ballard. Make sure to use the code Keith10 to save 10% on our full line of gear. That's Keith10.
Anything good that's worth doing is worth doing poorly so you can eventually do it well. And so if you suck at sales and you suck at systems and you don't understand the math of business, hello, I had a 2.6 GPA. I hated school. I don't like any of this stuff. It's all learnable skills, all of it. You do not have to be smart. You do not have to be a genius. In fact, the smarter you are, the harder it is for you, to be honest, because you're so aware of your own inadequacies that you tend to overthink and procrastinate more than dumber people, to be totally honest. Okay, so confidence, consistency. The next one you need clarity. You need to figure out, like, what game are you even trying to play? You're like, why are you working so hard? What's the point of it? What's the end game with it? You know, no one ever believes me that when I say when you hit $1 million business, nothing changes emotionally for you. I mean, you're proud of it. It's cool. But people are almost always disappointed when they hit it because we build it up to be this thing that it's not, right? So then what happens is you'll have a season where you're kind of stuck mentally, and then you'll say 10 million or 3 million, and then you'll get all excited. And then when you hit that, it does nothing but disappoint again, because none of these goals actually serve or satisfy you like you think they will. And what I've learned by working with 1,000 people over many years is that the relationship you have with your wife is what matters. The way your kids honor, respect you, and want to be around you when they're adults is what matters. The way that you pour into and kind of die for a cause bigger than yourself, whatever your purpose, or I say your mission, your mandate, your purpose, your destiny, like, this is the stuff that actually matters. And we get so hung up on these business goals that we wind up chasing the wind, and you can't catch the wind, right? So clarity of purpose, clarity of, I don't want to say your why, because I just think that's such a cheesy way to look at it, but like, what is your purpose? What is it? People say, I don't know my purpose. And I say, well, then your purpose is to find your purpose. Like, that's your purpose. Why are you here? You're going to die. 10 out of 10 people die, including you. If you eat healthy your whole life, did you know you're still going to die? If you exercise every day, you know you're still going to die. It's coming. You know, I forget who said it, but one of the quotes I love is, a wise man thinks of death often. And it's not to be negative and morbid. It's because it's really true, and it helps guide your decisions a little bit more clearly in the minute by minute daily life, right? So clarity is a superpower. When you talk to Tommy on Monday, you'll notice he has confidence, he has massive consistency, and he has absolute clarity on exactly what he's trying to build. Okay. I want you to pay attention to this when you meet these people. They all have abnormal amounts of these things that I'm describing to you. They know what they're doing, why it matters, how long it's going to take, what plan B is, what plan C is, or what they're going to do. Like, they figured it out in their brain. They know why it matters. They're willing to trade their life for it, and they're running. They are running with blinders on towards this thing. And it's not just a dollar number. It's usually some sort of grand vision that involves lots of other people. Like, for my life goal is to give away 100 million to widows and orphans and bug eaters, which you know that because we're friends. Every business move I make is trying to directionally point me towards that outcome. Like if it moves me further away from giving 100 million away to widows and orphans, I don't want to do it. If it moves me closer to being able to do that, then I'm willing to sacrifice and suffer for it and to do it if it moves me closer, right? And then the last C is community. And pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of small companies need to upgrade their friends group, truly. And this is not like a you're better than them thing. It's just a limiter for you. And like, I remember the neighborhood, Ashley and I, my wife and I bought our first house. Everyone thought we were like killing it. You know, we had this little cleaning business. I think it was doing like 40, 50,000 a month when we bought that house. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You have 2 trucks? Oh my gosh, you know? And it has this effect on you to like convince you that like you did it or something. But when you up level the people you're around, you realize like you didn't even start yet. And for me, at least, who wants to do these big things, like I need to be around big thinking people. And I don't particularly love small talk. I want to be around visionaries. I don't care if they fall on their face 10 times. I don't care if they fail. I want people that aren't embarrassed to have big ideas, big ideas. If your dreams don't make you want to throw up, you need to push yourself a little bit more. You should be embarrassed to tell people your dreams. And by the way, don't tell anybody your dreams until you're confident in them. Keep them like private. They're sacred. The Bible says don't cast your pearls before swine. And really what that can mean is like, you don't share all your big vision and stuff with all these people around you because they're just going to shit on them. They're going to poo-poo all of that stuff. And they're going to try to pull you down. They're going to say, oh, isn't there more to life than just work? Why do you work so hard? Why don't you get a real job? You ever have people say that to you? Here's the thing. They're not saying it because they don't want you to be big. They're saying it because of how you're making them feel small because you're thinking big. And you got to politely escape those relationships and find ways to get in different rooms. You know, the quality of a room is directly proportionate to the people in that room. That's why events like this are powerful because it costs lots of money to be here, not just to fly here and to come to this resort. You have to pay a whole bunch of money to be allowed to come here, right? But they're all doing big things, making big moves. And so it starts to feel normal to think big. And what used to feel big becomes normal, right? And you keep up leveling the room, right? So those are the success derivatives.
Confidence, consistency, clarity, community.
Yeah, if you have those, money happens. Right? Can you see it? Like Keith, let me just ask you, if you had 100% more confidence and certainty than you have now, and you're more consistent than you are now, and you had more razor sharp pinpoint 4K night vision clarity than you have now, right? And the only people pouring into you and speaking life into you were people ahead of you that were thinking even bigger than you were. If all those things were true over a time horizon, do you make less money or more money with that criteria?
Less mo money.
Lots more. That's right. Because money is the byproduct of that stuff. It's the sawdust of those 4 things.
Just letting it sink into the dome. You ever like you get super inspired, like listening to you talk, and then for a moment, the chasm splits and opens, and it's like, oh, and you start to believe in a higher vision so strongly that it becomes real inside of you, and you're in it like heaven inside of you. And you're like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. It's like a huge epiphany. And then all of a sudden, like you get sucked back into your current shape or frame, and then it goes away. But you had like 7 seconds of true, undeniable belief in everything you've ever dreamed of, that it actually can happen for you for real. When it opens up and the light shines in, but then it closes again like a genie in a lamp, how do you keep that fucker open and like stick your foot in the door so like you can start making massive traction in that higher dream, not just the habitual fears and things that you do every day, like do more of the stuff that barely works. Like, do you get what I'm talking about? Like, is it deep immersive deep dives, like stuff that you're doing, mastermind groups? Is it joining higher level workshops regularly and getting around bigger thinkers? Like, do you get what I'm talking about, right?
Jill's office provides friendly, professional receptionists for small business owners just like you. We can help answer your calls, and we can even schedule estimates and jobs for you. Try Jill's office today and get a $25 discount when you say Untrapped. Just go to jillsoffice.com.
I think probably like if I was to reorder those 4 things we just talked about, the one that I guess would go at the top would be clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have like the thing, if you figure out the thing you're willing to die for, that's the thing that pulls you through the hard Tuesday, right? That's the thing that makes you keep going even though you feel nothing, because we certainly don't feel motivated all the time. Motivation is very fleeting. It comes and goes. So like, why would you get out of bed when you don't want to at all? Well, it's because of the clarity of purpose, definitiveness of purpose. Or Napoleon Hill says chief definite aim. That's what he says, chief definite aim. So like when you know what that is, you just do it, because it's not about you. It's not about you. You become a slave.
Yeah, your purpose doesn't change just because your feelings change day to day. The purpose is the purpose.
Exactly. And it's not
the emotions. Okay. Yeah.
It's about your purpose. Like if I have to do it because if I believe literally in my heart that like that's my function on this planet. There's more than just the widows and orphans. That's a core chief definite aim of mine, that I will do something I don't want to do to make sure that happens. Because why would I want to die not having done the whole reason I was made in the first place? And so being a good father and being like, there's lots of things, but it's those things that are external to you that make it easier for you to do. And look, I still don't do it oftentimes, I'll just feel sorry for myself and be totally unproductive and useless for 2 days in a row. I mean, it's normal. You're a human. But a lot of people don't even have that purpose, or the purpose is only a money target, and it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't create as much fire, because you'll hit it, feel nothing, hit the next one, feel nothing, hit the next one, feel nothing. And most of us have already experienced this, right? We know what it's like to have $0 and how it feels pretty great to have $1,000. And then we know how hard it felt to have $10,000. And then the minute that was true and you had $10,000 is pretty awesome, but only for a minute. And then you're empty again. And so the numbers change, but the feeling, it never actually gives you what you think it will. But moving towards your purpose is the most rewarding thing you can do, because that's why you're here. You're supposed to do that. At least I believe that. I'm a little crazy.
I know I've been able to make more money over the past couple of years and that I've always wanted to make. And I've surprised myself of what I invest the money in, because when I was younger, I thought I would go get that badass Cadillac that I always wanted, or stuff like that, or get a crazy watch. And now I find myself investing money into my education and into my business more. And because it's like a conscious choice, step by step. I could get this thing now that depreciates and it's cool for 5 minutes, or I can invest in this. That it's like you're planting more seeds. It's like at what point, I guess you have to decide what truly makes you incredibly happy and fulfilled. For you, you're a sponge and you love to learn. Why are you at this mastermind event spending all this money? Is it for the longer term payoff, or do you just love learning and being around these people? Like, can you get more clarity on, or just define what was the clarity for you? Because I've watched you in your own growth. You're just like, it seems a hockey stick, and not just like outwardly. I don't see you driving like a, I don't know, fucking Lamborghini and all this stuff, but your knowledge and your ability to portray your message in a way that it impacts people, that's an entire form of success and wealth in and of itself, to affect other people in a positive way. What is that clarity for you? I know that was a complex question, but.
Well, it's funny. Alvin Chika Lawn Care just asked a question that it was literally what I was just about to talk about. I'm actually an extreme introvert. It's funny because people don't think I am, because I get very like animated when I talk about this because I'm passionate about it. I like care a lot. We've been bankrupt. We've lost everything. Like everything I have is because I bought a squeegee 20 years ago. And like, I am not too big for my britches. Let me tell you, like the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away, right? I don't have all the answers. I never have thought I have all the answers. In fact, Aristotle said the only thing I know is that I know nothing. And I feel more like that the smarter I get. Because if you think you figured it out, you're definitionally stupid. The smarter people actually know that they don't know anything relative to everything there is to know. So anyway, I come to these events for connections and networking, for belief charges, right? To recharge my belief, right? And what's possible, to think bigger, to get challenged, but also networking and business opportunities. So, people, it's really hard to get a bigger actual return on investment than investing directly into your brain. It's really hard, or your business, right? So if you put money in the stock market and you get an 8% return, I think that's the average since 1930 or something, like for the S&P, 8 or 12% or something. But you could spend $25,000 on specific knowledge that turns into $250,000 in 1 year, right? So that's like an outsized exponential return. And so there's not a lot of things that you can put your money into that brings your money back with friends faster than your own mindset, skill sets, and network. I mean, these are the 3 pillars of the stool that we're trying to build, right?
Wait, say, what are the 3 pillars again? I write this down.
Mindsets, skill sets, and network. And I heard someone at one of my events a couple weeks ago, they said, you've heard people say it's not what you know, it's who you know, right? Mm-hmm. It's not really true, right? Because it is what you know. Those are your skill sets. But it's also not who you know. It's really who knows you, okay? It's who knows you. You can be like, oh, yeah, I know him, but he doesn't know you, so it means nothing. So the reason you invest in relationships like this is because in the long run, really good things happen. I don't have an agenda for any of my friends down at this event, right? But there's going to be $5 million deals we do together 3 years from now that I don't even know what it is, right? So I invest in the relationship. I invest in the time when we can, because they're busy and I'm busy, and we come together and we talk about family and we talk about whatever. But it's so valuable. Even for a small local company, you've heard customer acquisition cost, right? How many dollars can you spend to get a customer, right? How come no one thinks about influencer acquisition costs, right? How many dollars would you spend to have the right relationship that could lead to 30 customers, right? If you spend $100 to get one customer, would you spend $3,000 on a relationship that could lead to 30 customers? Well, you should, because even locally, your network is your net worth. Elvin said, say that again. Maybe you said, maybe they're talking about mindset, skill sets, and network, maybe. No.
Bro, you just said influencer acquisition cost.
Yeah, think of it, or relationship acquisition cost. We're so cheap with money. People that are high achievers, they let money flow out and it comes back. Money replenishes. It's coming and going all the time. When you only let a little bit out, only a little bit can come in. If your palm's always closed, how can stuff come into your palm? You got to let it go. You got to let it go. Bless people. Be a blessing. Invest in your brain. Think bigger. Have the faith and step out in faith and go for it. Like you let it happen and it starts coming. And it's bumpy and it's super scary sometimes, but it just works because that's everything God made. He designed to grow and expand. Everything.
Hey, real quick, I have no plans on these live. I've been going live a lot and having a lot of people on my show on the Untrapped podcast. It comes out after we go live on video, but then it's coming out on the Untrapped podcast on Apple and Spotify as well. So thousands and thousands of people are going to listen to this. And I don't have any plans of pitching or selling anything. And it's like, I actually had a guest on like a week ago. And at the end of the our live chat, he started transitioning into like a pitch to help me. Keith, what about your marketing course for sale? And I was like, that like wasn't my plan. So I was like, yeah, you can just go check out. So it's like, I don't know. I joined your War Plant Insiders thing. I'm not trying to pitch anybody anything, but anybody here who's listening to him talking what he's talking about, I was in the Facebook group and you're dropping all these knowledge bombs for free. And it was like, I'm taking all the notes, and then I joined your group, and it was like getting fed with a fire hose. Not that you were giving out too much information. It's the quality of the information is so good that I had to slow down and I digest it. So I got way behind in the group. And it's because the stuff that you were teaching is stuff that I'm still digesting and learning and implementing. It's like, it's almost alien to me when it comes to entrepreneurship, like the ways you're talking right now, because it takes an identity upgrade. It takes you like accepting the fact that the things that you know and that you've learned and that you've experienced and heard from other people are only a version of the truth. Like you said, your business already has systems that could just be crappy systems. Like, and so it's like the different stages of grief. You have to realize, and I want to be respectful of your time. That's why I'm doing this, because we've been on about an hour. But the stages of grief are like you're in shock, then you're in denial, and then you come into acceptance, like, oh my God, this entire reality that I think is real, or the way I'm running my business, there could be a whole higher way, but I have to accept that. So anyways, Warplan Insiders is mind-blowing. Can you talk about that for a minute in case anybody wants to learn more?
No one wants to hear about that. But Motorcycle is Life said Keith doesn't realize how far ahead he is. I agree with Motorcycle is Life, if you want to throw that up there. Like, you are a poster child, Keith, of actually Dunning-Kruger, which is this psychological concept that smart people tend to underestimate their abilities. Dumb people tend, on average, not always, but on average, tend to overestimate their abilities. We all know people at the family reunion that are like, hey, they think they know everything, but they're like the biggest idiot out of everybody, right? They have lots of opinions for your business. Hey, Keith, you know what you should do? Yeah, you got to do, and they say it with this confidence, even though they don't know what they're talking about. That's Dunning-Kruger effect on the low end. What you are on the Dunning-Kruger scale is the super smart, introspective person that super over engineers and analyzes things to your own detriment on accident. Because you know that any program you make will not be perfect, you can't even get it made, right? Or it takes you 10 times longer than it should. Or you market it quieter than you should because you're like, the truth is going to be found out. They're going to find out I don't actually know everything. Well, of course, nobody knows everything, right? And because you're so smart, you actually cut your own legs out a little bit, and you've gotten way better. But like, it's so evident the depth of knowledge that you have and your passion, how much you love these people. And for everybody watching this, Keith's my actual friend. We talk on the phone and about nerdy stuff. He loves helping people. Like, he's had people not commit suicide, write him letters, and he'll message me and call me and text me, and he's like, man, I can't believe this. I can believe it because I know who you are. Everyone else can see it. And you're not seeing what you actually are. It's not clear to you. And that's Dunning-Kruger. You're the chronic overthinker because you're a very intelligent guy. So
did you say Dunning-Kruger?
Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning, D-U-N-N-I-G, Kruger effect. Just kind of watch some videos on it. It's fascinating because people that procrastinate a lot oftentimes are the smartest people. People that are insecure also oftentimes are the smartest people because they are aware that they suck at lots of stuff. Dumb people don't think about how much they suck at stuff, okay? When you know your own inadequacies, it's hard for you to you feel like you're going to get found out or something, right? So those are my thoughts. Warplan Insiders, people will be seeing that in the next month or so because we're going to be spending all kinds of money on ads, promoting it and stuff. So I'm not worried about that at all. I want everybody that hears this, has a small company or feels stuck to keep going, be stubborn enough to not stop, hammer the nail all the way into the board. Don't believe the lie that the $1 million business will change your life, but finish what you started before you get distracted by the next shiny, sexy object. But when your business is kind of working, don't feel bad by exploring other types of vehicles, other business opportunities, getting into the information business, affiliate marketing. There's so many opportunities with artificial intelligence. There's so many opportunities with software. You know how hard it was to build software in 2010 and 11 when I first started spending money on it compared to now? It's not even close to the same thing. There's so much opportunity. And if you can increase your confidence, your consistency, your clarity, and your community. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anybody else? But if you believe in yourself just enough to focus on those 4 things, impossibly good things are going to happen to you. I come from nothing. I don't have a trust fund. I lived in a trailer park. I was a pizza delivery guy at a 2.6 GPA. I was the quarterback of our high school football team, but we even sucked at that. We lost our homecoming 69-0. We sucked at football. Like, there was no reason for me to succeed at anything. And I've been on the brink of divorce. I've had cars repossessed. I've been bankrupt. I've had massive pain and suffering. It's not a joke. It really actually sucks. And but who cares? Who cares? I had t-shirts made for my kids that say it doesn't matter how hard it is. It only matters if it's worth it. That's why, if you can figure out what you're supposed to trade your life for, chief definite aim, your primary objective, your success criteria, your purpose, your mission, your mandate, your purpose, your destiny. If you can get clarity on that thing, who cares how hard it is? Because you will get there. And just get rid of the relationships with people that think you're nuts for believing that. And you will go so fast. It can happen so freaking fast. Your life can change really fast. One epiphany, one relationship, one idea, pushing a little harder, living outside your comfort zone a little bit more often. Things can go boom, 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 boom. I've helped create over 100 millionaires that were just as dumb and full of bad ideas as I was.
Full of bad ideas.
Like, talking about this stuff. Like, you can do it. And my closing quote before I hop off is to remember this. There's a lot of people dumber than you that already have what you want. Like, if that doesn't, because it's true. Whoever's listening, you're thinking of someone right now. You're like, yeah, that's true. That guy's an idiot. Why has he got the 17 bass boats? Bull crap, right? You can have the hot tubs and the bass boats. Trust me. And it's not because your mommy and daddy had money or that you went to Yale. Like, that's all dumb. In a lot of ways, those things are disadvantages. So that's it. Go crush it. High five.
Boom. Everybody, that's Joshua Latimer. Look him up. You find him.
Yeah, just
all over the world universe.
Facebook. Friend me on Facebook, and
You got what's your YouTube channel? You're making all these good.
Start a YouTube channel. I have dozens of followers. It's a magical experience. But it's just my name, Joshua Latimer.
Joshua Latimer. All right, sweet. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks everybody for being on the show. Peace.
Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.
Thank you.